So would you want more? Emona, Ubecha, would your papa, would your bonnie? Yeah, ain't he share quite so yeah? One day, baby, who to me, baby? Unyasa so baby mo. So would you want more? Minya, Emona, Ubecha, would your papa?
And that is the voice evergreen. Wow.
Yeah.
You know how there's some people who record in the studio?
Wow.
And their voice sounds great on the recording. And then when you listen to them live in performance, you can tell the difference.
Okay.
But with you,
wow.
Same difference.
Are you sure?
I'm very, very sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in my studio now Mary Ghansah. The popular Mary Ghansah. Even more beautiful Mary Ghansah. Auntie Mary, how are you?
Oh my. By the grace of God, I'm fine.
How has life treated you? I mean, we haven't heard from you in a while. I know you've been busy doing your own thing, but when you talk about mainstream, you've been away for quite some time. How has life treated? How have we treated you?
It's been fair. You know, we have the positive and the negative that gives us power. So there have been ups and downs, but hey, life has been fair.
Yeah.
It's been fair.
What are some of the downs?
Some of the downs, there are times you feel you want to be alone. Yeah, there are times you want to like withdraw and pause over the years.
Is it because at a point in time you had so much focus on you? At the point in time you were high flying, you were everywhere, you were extremely popular. Is that why you had to pause?
No, it's not because you have to pause, but sometimes God in His own arrangements gives way for, you know, what's the word?
Changes.
It doesn't come to changes. You know, we have so many facets of life, and sometimes by the time you realize you are in a situation, pondering, you know, trying to recollect over the years. Have you been a blessing? Have you been doing what God wanted you to do?
But has Reverend Mary Ghansah been doing what God wanted her to do?
Trying. I can't say 100%, Anita, but I've been trying.
But we see you as 100%. Why do you rate yourself less than 100%?
It's only God who is perfect.
Yeah,
it's only God who is perfect. Yeah, man cannot be as equal as God. You know, it's by the grace. Yeah, by the grace of God, we're trying to reach the mark.
We are trying to reach the mark. I'm sorry, the gospel music terrain has changed though. You know, there's so many changes. What kind of changes from when you started way back in the day to now? What are the changes that you, as Reverend Mary Ghansah, what have you seen about the gospel music industry?
Okay, what I've seen in our days, it used to be piano.
Just piano?
Just piano. Music didn't used to be that loud. Yeah, it didn't used to be that loud, and everything was in the moderation. Even if you believe in something, you could not come out boldly and maybe dance this kind of dances you used to do. Hey, no, it didn't used to
that.
No.
Is it that at the time, you know, people will look upon you negatively, or is that it just wasn't trendy to be bold?
There. It wasn't there. It wasn't there because you wouldn't see anybody doing that for you to follow. But you know, as we all know, every generation God uses something to bring His awareness to His people. So in our time, He used something different. This modern days too, there's something He's using.
Yeah. When did you start your music career?
74.
74. That's more than 14 years ago. Wow. And at
I celebrated my 40th year last 2 years.
Yeah, was it last 2 years? Yes, I remember. But at the time when you started, were you sure? Did you know that you were going to become this big and powerful name in the gospel music industry? What were your plans when you started?
You know, those days, doing music wasn't popular. Because when they saw me with a guitar, it was like, hey, Anita, show me a guitar. What's the main feature?
So it was a man's thing. thing to be holding a guitar and you play music instruments. And
guitar.
You play the guitar? What else do you play?
That's all. But
you play the guitar?
I know just on the keyboard, the guitar.
More than the rest of
guitar.
So when they saw you with the guitar, they didn't like it.
No, they didn't like it. And my mom was being given all sort of reports. Hey, in the way, you know, and my mom was like, hey, where did you go? Where have you been? It's like all her friends was like,
Did they ever accept your desire to do music? And if they did, at what time? They never did. What about your mother? Did she ever accept that you wanted to be in music?
My mom was like, oh, which parts did she belong? She didn't know. You know, she didn't know. She was just there being tossed, you know, by friends. And she didn't know where this music was going to get me to. She didn't know because then, I mean, you didn't have a model for you to see that, oh, I'm going to be a day. You see, this thing wasn't there.
That's any name.
Yeah, so she didn't know where I made my destination. And I don't think I also knew.
At which point in time did you realize that your destination had reached the point where Ekua became Mary Ghansah?
Well, it was after my sixth album, that is in K3. Yeah, in K3. That was when it became big because I had then released Onipa Beno. There was one song I did with Tongues, a live recording. I did with Ghana Films.
Just in tongues?
Yeah, just in tongues. No, it was a live worship. You know, I took Watonchine with full of instruments. Borax, Harvest Chapel was part of it.
Really?
Went to Ghana Films and recorded a live worship. And at that time, the engineers there, Mr. Archer, Mr. Wilson, and that they said, Mary, what is this chaka chaka thing? But you don't like money, you know. But at that time, God was impressing upon my spirit to release an album, a praise and worship album, so that when the elder is not there, when the pastor is not there, his people will be inspired to worship him. You know, but others saw it as, what chaka chaka thing is. Yeah.
But Mary Ghansah, the kind of gospel you did at the time, did it feed you? Did it put food on the table? Did you make money from it?
No.
Then why did you do it? Why did you keep doing it?
There was this inner satisfaction that I've been obedient to God. People are being blessed, and that satisfied me because somebody called me from Ghansah. He said, Mary, I did a research, and he said everyone had your cassette, but none of the cassette was the original one. And I said,
so, but how come? Then how did you survive? If gospel music, which we know you for, wasn't feeding you, how are you surviving?
Yes, at that time. Because when I started, live worship wasn't popular. And this tongues wasn't popular. You know, everybody seems to be running away. When you go to Katamantu, you slot in my CD. When prayer starts, people begin to scare. They are like, this prayer should have waited maybe, but this one is starts with prayer.
So you started what we have now come to accept and embrace, but you started a long time ago. So truly you are a trailblazer in that kind of praise and worship, and we never knew. But was there anything else you were doing on the side, you know, any business you were doing on the side? If music wasn't feeding you, was there anything else that you were doing that was helping to bring in some income?
Programs, you know. If I say music wasn't feeding me, it wasn't like 100% true because it was partly, but it wasn't like a boom.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was kind of crawling.
Once in a while you get something.
Crawling. But then programs, I had a lot of programs then. I was all over the place. Women Are Glow, Reverend Mako was inviting me. People were inviting me here and there. And
At which point in time, Mary Ghansah, Reverend Mary Ghansah, did your career take a turn where you said right here that you are being called left and right and center? You are not being as called now, or are you?
Then?
No, now.
Now.
Speaking about now, when we say that Mary is a very busy, gospel musician, is it correct? Are you being asked to perform as much now as you were then?
Even now, it's not bad. Even now, today I've had about 2. Yeah, even now I've had 2 invitations.
Oh wow!
Last Sunday I was in ICGC Dakuma doing my own thing. Yeah, and to me I'm blessed.
That is such a powerful thing to say. You are blessed,
I'm
because
blessed,
a lot of people or a lot of veterans, a lot of artists from way back will say that, well, the way the young people now are doing their things, they think that we are archaic, they don't call us, but you are saying that by God's grace you continue to be relevant. What about the new kind of gospel music? You know, it's very, these days when you listen to a gospel song, it doesn't even sound like gospel anymore. Actually, it sounds like a regular R&B song, and then you realize that, oh, it's actually a gospel song. What do you think about that?
I feel great about it because we can't continue to be the old-fashioned.
Nice.
When things are progressing, when God wants to move his people from one state to another, we need to flow and see how we can blend the old and the new to achieve our goal.
Fantastic. Hey, Reverend Mary Ghansah, joining me here on the Starr Drive for a quick conversation. You know, once in a while we tap into, and actually no, once in a while we pause and we want to find out exactly where all our veterans are, the artists, the musicians, the producers, the actors and actresses that we used to see so much then. We want to make sure that they are doing okay now. And if for whatever reason we have to jump in and support them, we will do that right here on the Starr Dial 103.5 FM. I have Reverend Mary Ghansah in the seat. We'll be bringing you, of course, ending her interview with her new track. I've listened to it. I love it. It is powerful. And I'm happy that in 2017, Auntie Mary, you can still connect with young people. Now, yesterday was International Women's Day. Did you celebrate it at all?
By the time I realized it was half the day.
That's a good
So
one.
I remember I was on the page. I said,
it
this
was today. As a woman, in the in an industry, generally music industry, where a young lady said to me on TV yesterday that she has a talent for music. She wants to be able to establish herself, but every single time she asks the help, from a manager who happens to be male, he asks her to do things that are against her principles. Reverend Mary Ghansah, for a woman who has done so well in her career, you continue to do so well, what words of advice would you give to young women who want to come into this industry, gospel or mainstream or otherwise? What would you say to them, Mary Ghansah?
Well, to such, I would say they should wait. Maybe their time is not yet up. Because if these are things with strings attached. Yeah, I also had this challenge, but mine was a positive one. Someone promised to help me with an album, but then when we went, it was not ready. Then this Mr. Kuma came by with a pure motive. He said, Mary, look, I'll sponsor you with my own money. And he did that. So when the time comes, God will bring you an angel. God will bring you a helper. Yeah. Don't rush.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Sometimes it's rushing that gets us into wrong hands. Beautifully said. So Auntie Mary Ghansah, I can't even call him just Mary. Charlie, Reverend Mary Ghansah. You sent us 4 great songs, sweet tracks. What would you like us to end the interview with? Which song shall we play for you?
I don't even know which one.
Any one of them?
Any one of them.
Any one of them.
Yeah, maybe Asada or whatever.
Okay, any one of them. You see, a real artist is the one that doesn't care which one you play, because all of them are good. All the songs are good. But before you leave us though, there's been a lot of talk about this Gamro and musical issue. I'm sure you know or you've heard how a lot of people think they are not acting in the best interest of musicians, artists. Reverend Mary Ghansah, what is your view on that?
My view on that is people don't have full information about what is really happening. And so they just get carried away by rumors. And anyone who sits in the Gamro chair is presumed to be chopping some money. Where is the money?
I get you.
Where is the money?
There's no money coming in.
There's no money coming in. Government has been paying his blank levy. But last year, because of the elections, the money did not go through. And then this year, but what's the actual challenges? Getting the FM stations, the TV stations, to pay. I mean, to log our music.
So we all have to contribute.
Yes, this is what people don't know.
We all have to.
And they keep on saying, hey, you collected money from spinners. How much do they pay? Spinners money. That's not enough. You see, so they don't know the reality. But I think Kodwenchi did a lot.
So you support Kodwenchi 100%?
I do.
On all his efforts.
Yes,
I think one day we will have a forum we've been talking about this, and I think 2017 is the year when we have that forum, artists, musicians, managers, etc. Let's come together to understand what is truly going on, and let's by ourselves take the reins and create the systems. Forget about all this talk and complaint. If there's something to talk about, there's something to complain about, then there is a problem to be solved. Let us be the problem solvers. And we here on Starr 103.5 FM, we are committed to that. And I'm going to speak to Bola Ray. I'm going to speak to the executives. I mean, let's stop even using our airtime to talk about the problem. Let's use our airtime to show.
And Anita, you know what? We don't say people should not talk or criticize, but then the way yes, it looks like to me, no. It shouldn't
not the way
be the way.
Okay, but let's not end on a sorry note. Let's end on a high note, and I'm eager to hear one of your new tracks. So you've been listening to Reverend Mary Ghansah. She has been in my seat today, albeit a very short time, but you know what? I promise she will be back for that extensive interview, because there is so much goodness in this woman, and of course her colleagues from yesteryear, if they each sit down and tell you exactly how to follow that path, my dear friend, you will be successful. Here is one of Reverend Mary Ghansah's new tracks right here on Veteran Thursday on the Starr Drive.
This one was a collaboration with Dinah Hobson and I.
Yeah.